Hello, this is Jay Magnussen with Pro Co-op. I'm the conservation agronomist, and I wanted to give the April update. So what I want to talk about today is possibly setting up your planter for no-till planting of either corn or soybeans. So the first thing when we talk about planting, it doesn't matter whether it's in tilled ground or no-till ground. A lot of these concepts are the same. They just need to be adjusted for tilled ground and no-till ground. The first thing is getting the planter toolbar level. So get it folded out. Go set it down and make sure, take a level and look and see if make sure the planter toolbar is level, because if it's nose diving or tail dragging, it's going to mess up how the row units work. So after we get that leveled, we're going to look at our parallel arms on our planter and make sure that they are actually getting down to parallel the way they're supposed to be. So after we've got our toolbar leveled and our parallel arms set, we need to go into talking a little bit more about stuff specific to no-till. Now I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter whether you have a brand new planter or a really old planter, you can set it up properly to no-till with it. It doesn't have to be a brand new piece of equipment. On our farm, we no-till with a planter that was built in 1998. So it's nothing new, nothing exciting, but through proper adjustments and equipment setup, it does just as good no-tilling as a brand new planter. So the first thing I want to talk about is getting enough down pressure on the rows. In order to achieve proper seed depth so we can have proper emergence, your row units need to have enough down pressure so they don't bounce going through the field. And after our down pressure is determined and we've got our springs or airbags cranked up enough to keep the units from bouncing, we need to talk about properly setting the row cleaners. If we set the row cleaners right, we'll move the trash out of the way, but not dig deep enough to plow a furrow or get into wet dirt. That'll cause a lot of problems with emergence and seeding depth because mud will build up on our gauge wheels. One of the most important things when planting is getting our corn planted at the proper depth. Soybeans, not so much. Get them inside the field somewhere, on top of the ground, in the ground, they're gonna grow, no problem. But our corn, we want it to be at least 2 inches. I would much rather have you set the corn depth at 2.5 inches versus 1.5 inches. Proper seeding depth determines the outcome of the entire season. This is the most important part of the planting operation. What we do at our house is we set them all the same and then take some blocks of wood and set the planter up and down on blocks of wood cut at 2 5/8 inches, so we can make sure that we're getting somewhere around 2.5 inches depth. And it's really surprising that not every row unit is set at the same depth once we gauge it. And the last part of the planting operation is closing. We want to make sure that we close the seed trench firmly, but don't close it so firmly that we cause compaction or disturb the seeding depth. What I like to use is a spike tooth closer, one of the plastic spike tooth closers. Yetter or one other company makes those. To break down the furrow, and if it happens to be a little moist when we seed, the spikes break down the furrow, crushing it so we don't have sidewall compaction, and that really helps seed to soil contact and seeding emergence. So with that being said, if anyone wants to have me drive out to the place and give their planter a look over, or come out to the field when you start planting and give you some tips and tricks or just my opinion, give me a ring at 358-1916 or talk to one of your agronomists and they can give me a call and we'll get a time set up. Thanks. This is Jay Magnussen, conservation agronomist with Pro Co-op. We'll talk to you next time.